Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm going to tell you about a brand new French perfume brand that you've probably never heard of, but you might be glad you did. Stay tuned to FM. Woudacieux is a brand new French perfume brand based in Paris. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I never know with these French names, but I think just commit to something and go with it is the best option. So Woudacieux, and if you don't agree with my pronunciation, come at me because it's a made up word. This brand is so proud that everything is made in France. All the ingredients, all the processes that go into this brand are done in France, so much so they wanted me to include a document in the video description which will show all the processes and show that everything is done in France, just in case you were wondering about that. Before I get into the fragrances, here are some things I already like about the brand before I've even smelled anything. They have a strong focus on sustainability. They are 100% vegan and animal cruelty free. 80% of their perfumes are natural. They're made from natural absolutes and essential oils, and only premium synthetics are used to recreate these animalic accords, because obviously there are no real animalic accords in the fragrances. So if you are someone who is concerned about what goes into fragrances, then this is mostly natural and high quality synthetics. Something else I really love about this brand is they do not want to follow trends, and you'll realize when I tell you about these fragrances, I can't really make comparisons to fragrances that you know. I like to do that when I'm talking about fragrances, just to sort of give you some idea about what they smell like, but I found I can't really do that. I can't compare any of these fragrances to anything else. So I love that they want to be unique so much. In fact, I believe they've used new extraction methods to be able to pursue this philosophy of creating unique perfumery. So that's good. All right, let's start talking about fragrances. So the brand sent me a discovery kit. I went through them and I've chosen 5 of my favorites, 4 of which I have bottles of here so I can show you the presentation. The first fragrance I'm going to mention, and bear with me because they all have slightly different names, shall we say. This one is called Animaquaris in Time. I'm going to tell you a few of the notes in here, but some of these I have never heard of and probably can't pronounce, so please just bear with me on these notes. In this one we have Bru Branco, Iris, Patchouli, Eaglewood, Styrax, Amber, Gurgeon Balsam, Musk, Arborvitae and Castoreum Accord. First thing that strikes me when I smell this fragrance is it's a very, very smooth blend, and it's really hard to pick out prominent notes. The most prominent in the opening anyway is iris, but it's not a really strong iris note. If I'm really looking for a note to grab onto, I would say it is the iris. So I'm just going to try and describe the character of the fragrance to give you an idea of what it smells like. So it's bright and diffusive. It's got a sparkling quality, but in the background it has a little bit of creaminess, so it's got a nice rich quality to it. I also get something just a little bit minty in there. I'm not really sure where it's coming from, but it adds a slight freshness to the fragrance. So we've got a bit of freshness, we've got some creaminess. Based on the fact there's castoreum in here, before I smelled this I would have thought it would have been a little dirtier and more animalic, but I don't get anything animalic at all in this fragrance. I'd describe this one as elegant and sexy. It's quite close to the skin, it's quite an intimate fragrance. It doesn't project massively, but on the skin, the quality of this fragrance is superb. People are probably gonna have to get a little closer to you to be able to smell it. That's why I'm saying it's an intimate fragrance. So, you know, date night, that typical situation where you're in closer proximity to someone. The quality of the blend on this is beautiful. It is really nicely done. I can tell a lot of work has gone into this. I wish I could give you some comparisons to other fragrances to give you a bit of an idea of what it smells like. If you've smelled this and you think it reminds you of something else, please let me know in the comments, because other people would find that useful as well. Great quality, really enjoyable. This one is called Animaquaris in Time. The next one I'm going to mention is called Sappinson's Figudative. So you can tell from the name that it has fig and it has oud in there, but what else does it have in there? Let me tell you. We've got valerian, whatever that is, boswellia carteri, whatever that is, fig, black spruce, Mysore sandalwood, cashmere, oud, costus, ebony wood, and tolu balsam. So this one is a little darker. It's not quite as bright as the previous one. When it opens, I get a sort of pine resin accord, but that quickly settles after 10-20 minutes, and a bit of oud comes through, but it's not an animalic oud at all. The oud sort of just seems to hum harmoniously with the rest of the notes, and then you've got that soft sweet fruitiness of fig, which just helps round things out. You can tell that if the fig wasn't there, this would be a dirtier perfume, it'd be rougher around the edges, it'd perhaps be a little earthier and harder to wear, but the addition of the fig in here just rounds everything out really nicely. This fragrance reminds me of old things. It smells old, it smells ancient, it smells like it's been around for centuries. It smells like old buildings, old rooms, old objects. It smells old, but in a really interesting way, not in a way that you would think, oh, I don't really want to wear that at all. It smells old and makes me come across as old. I don't mean anything like that. I mean, it's got this ancient, mysterious quality, like it's from before time, it's from the earth. I don't really know how else to describe it, but there's definitely something very mysterious about the fragrance. So this is a bit of a statement maker. It's got a bit of darkness to it. It's quite brooding yet empowering, very intriguing, very creative, very interesting, but wearable. It's not a massive projector. It doesn't fill a room at all. It projects a little more than in time, but it's still quite subtle. So I think that helps with the wearability factor of this. So if you like to mix creativity, a little bit of darkness, a bit of earthiness, some old smelling accords, then I think you might like Sappinson's Figurative. The next one is called Lila Shepra Encens. This one has Choya Rye, don't know what that is, Lilas, Vetiver, Black Cherry, Schweinfurti Resin, Boswellia Freriana, Cedar Moss, Cypriol, Earthy Notes, Oak Moss, and Black Cherry. I know what Black Cherry is. I'd describe this one as a brooding floral, and for some reason, the image that it puts in my mind is a flower with its petals singed or burning. It's got a sort of smoky floral aspect to it, which is really interesting. It's also got a damp earthiness to it. This one again smells very much of the earth, of nature. It's got weight, it's got quite a lot of gravitas to it. I would not describe this fragrance as a crowd pleaser in the traditional sense, but I think it will get attention. I think it's the sort of fragrance that draws people in. It's intriguing. It is a good smell, but it's such a different smell that people initially won't be able to decide whether they like it or not, but they're going to be interested enough to ask you what you're wearing. It's that sort of fragrance. So as with all the fragrances in this line, they just seem to straddle that line between creativity and wearability, which is something I love. So likely to get you a bit of attention, get you noticed, and I would say it's wearable but in an artistic, creative way. That is Lila Shepra Encens. Okay, this is my favorite of the whole bunch. It is called Anistium Shepra. I should say that with a bit more conviction. I'm going to commit. Anistium Shepra. Here are the notes. Cistus creticus, bran, cherry, dicamali, pecan nut, gasoline, caraway, jasmine sandbach, black amber, Mysore sandalwood, and white musk. Cistus creticus, dicamali. I don't know, they sound like Harry Potter characters to me, but I'm sure they are doing a good job. And I like that it's got things in there that I don't recognize, that it's doing something different. So when I spray this one, it reminds me, this might sound a little bit weird, but it has a quality of the muscle rub that I used to put on my legs when I'd go out in the winter time to play rugby or football, or that sort of menthol smell you'd get in the changing rooms because people were wearing it. I don't know if it's the cherry, this sort of minty menthol cherry that is providing this accord, but I like it. After the great opening, it settles into a creamy, woody sort of scent. Again, it has creaminess in the background. There seems to be sort of a milky, creamy quality to quite a few of these fragrances, or certainly the ones that I'm leaning towards being my favorites. So it all settles, but it still has a little bit of that cherry menthol lift in the background, which is what makes this fragrance so striking. Of all of them, this one projects the most. I was getting lovely wafts throughout the day. I think this one will give you good sillage, good scent bubble. And I think this is probably the compliment getter for me of the group anyway. It's the easiest for me to wear, it's quite crowd pleasing. I love the fact it doesn't remind me of anything else. I can just reach for this fragrance and know I'm gonna smell different to most people out there and different to, you know, if I choose to wear anything else. I think the brand has done a superb job in pursuing this philosophy of being unique, being different, not following trends. This sort of perfumery is not going to be for everyone. If you want to go into a nightclub and have massive projecting fragrance and just pull compliments all night, I don't think you're the right target audience for this brand. But if you like creative perfumery, if you like things that are different, if you like to be surprised, if you want to walk that fine line between creativity and wearability, then this brand has put themselves right into that little niche, and I think they're doing it really well. Let's have a look at the presentation. Here's the box that they come in, and the bottle just sits nicely in that velvet cushion on the inside. I really like the artwork. I like the magical fairy aesthetic we've got going on with this brand. The whole line just makes me think of a mysterious fairy glen, and the earthy and the playful notes from the fragrances seem very connected with the natural world and give the whole thing a mysterious aura. So in terms of the execution of the brand, of the types of fragrances, the aesthetics perfectly match with the style of fragrances, different, unique, slightly mysterious. If you're thinking of picking these up, the prices on these are €178 for one of these 50ml bottles. That works out about £150. So not the cheapest perfumes you can buy, but I think a lot has gone into this brand, a lot of design, a lot of thought. I love the brand focusing on sustainability and that they're 100% vegan, cruelty-free. All that stuff they're doing really well. So from start to finish, I think the brand has executed all these fragrances really well. Great new brand. I enjoyed them a lot. If you hadn't heard of these, I hope it puts them on your radar. If you did want to try them, they do offer a discovery set as well. It has all their fragrances in, and as you can see, they're really nicely presented. You've got all the notes on there so you can see what's going on. I'd recommend getting one of these discovery sets, finding out which your favorites are, and maybe pick up one favorite and treat yourself if you really like it. Okay, that's it from me on Woudacieux. I will leave a link to their website in the description. Go and check them out. The website's pretty dazzling and stunning in itself. Like I said, everything about this brand has been really well thought out. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you discovered something that you didn't know before. If you've got experience with this brand, please do let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Very, very interesting stuff, and yeah, definitely worth checking out. Okay, thank you very much. Like the video if you found it useful. Maybe consider subscribing, and if you do that, I will see you in the next one.